Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if this is working. Oh my god, something just got my. Okay. Alright. I believe that everything is working. And this is going to be one of the more weirder Ring of Honor TV reviews that we have done on the channel thus far. We've had some weird ones. We had the one that comes to mind, and this one is very effing similar, but at least there's a break in it. I remember early on in the reviews that they made a 3-hour episode with 19 effing matches, and I reviewed and talked about every single one of them. And that was during a pay-per-view week, by the way. So a lot was going on there. Let's cut right to the chase. For some reason, I still don't really know why they did it. It's not really that big of a deal that they did do it, etc. We have 2 episodes of Ring of Honor this week. We had our normal Thursday episode, episode number 129 on HonorClub, and then we got a special edition episode exclusively on YouTube. It might be on HonorClub as well, but I watched it on YouTube. That was uploaded Friday at 6 o'clock, so the same time a normal episode would be uploaded. And it was a longer episode. We have some competitors pulling double duty tonight. I will, again, be honest with you. I don't know why the hell they did this. Again, it's not that big of a deal because I watched both of them, and we'll discuss both things. We have some announcements throughout the course of this review, so this might be a longer review because, again, we are covering 2 episodes of Ring of Honor this week. Episode number 120. I try to cut to the chase. I kind of keep fucking that up. Episode number 129. And a special YouTube edition of ROH. I do have a theory. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But earlier this year, they did something very similar to where it was an episode of Collision happened. It was one of those Thursday episodes of Collision. And on that episode, Nick Wayne won the TV title. And Rocky Romero turned on Tomohiro Ishii. So it was a big episode. And I remember that in the earlier episode that they did, Nick Wayne had competed in a match, A, and B, Rocky Romero and Tomohiro Ishii had a tag match on that episode. So if they would have waited to upload the ROH episode at the time, etc., those 2 things would have been messed up because Nick Wayne wouldn't have had the TV title, and there would have been no reason for Rocky Romero and Ishii to be teaming up. So I have my thinking cap on. I have my theory cap on, I should more so say, and think that something like this might be happening in the course of from now all the way to next week. So we have Collision, which has been filmed and good enough. I have not been spoiled. I am very much looking forward to this week's episode of Collision. We have the technical spectacle. Nigel McGuinness is competing. Anytime Nigel McGuinness is having a match, I'm going to tune in. So this week's Collision should be good. We have a big edition of Dynamite next week, the Go Home to Forbidden Door. They did say that next week's ROH should be on Thursday at 6 o'clock because they did announce a match. It's not a big match. It's Beef versus Blake Christian. Spoiler alert. But at least it had the normal start time. But again, this week, next week, and the week after that, probably a crazy-ass schedule because next week, again, is Forbidden Door week, and then the week after that is Death Before Dishonor week, and again, another spoiler alert, we got 2 matches to discuss for Death Before Dishonor on here. So, enough of me yapping about all this extra stuff because, again, we got 2 episodes of ROH to go through right now. I will also say that you're about to watch a casino battle royale. To be fair, it's the biggest match that you can do here on AEW Fight Forever. And I thought that I could choose the participants in this match, but I could not. Granted, if my calculations are correct, all 4 people that are on the screen have no correlation to ROH. I try my damnedest to have the people that are on the matches, on the reviews, have some type of correlations to ROH. And to my calculations, Miro, Owen Hart, Chris Danger, and James Darnell have never made an appearance on ROH. Everybody else, oddly enough, 3 people in this match appeared this week, and none of them were in matches. John Silver appears, Scorpio Sky appears, and John freaking Moxley appears as well. So if y'all want to know when and how and why that happened, we'll get to it in the review. So we're starting off talking about episode 129 of ROH on Honor Club. Our opening contest is an 8-man tag. Definto, Volador Jr., the Beast Mortos, and Hechicero taking on Angelico, Serpentico, Alex Zane, and A.R. Fox. Several of these competitors will be competing on the YouTube exclusive episode as well. Hechicero and Angelico start the bout off with frequent tags happening afterwards. Serpentico attempts a dive to the outside but couldn't after Lance Archer pulls his foot at ringside and his opponents take advantage from there on. A.R. Fox starts to start a comeback with himself and Zane doing swantons onto Hechicero. Archer once again gets involved while Hechicero traps Zane for a pin and the win. After the match, they continue to attack their opponents with Tomohiro Ishii, Hologram, Brody King, and Bandito making the save and running them off. I like these. I like the. Let's put this. I like the random ass 8-man tag. This is a random ass 8-man tag. Some of them just, I like the 8-man tags where they don't feel repetitive. I just feel that a lot of times recently we've been getting the Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, Von Erichs versus Premier Athletes and insert extra team 8-man tags. And I just hate getting these repetitive 8-man tags. I like the ones where there's a mix of styles, a mix of competitors that you don't normally see that often, and this was one of those matches. Even though, again, it's kind of chaotic and hard to talk about because there's so much happening that has little effect, etc. But an interesting opening bout nonetheless. Willie Mack takes on Gringo Loco next. The fans are behind both guys early on, and they taunt one another with hip thrust, which has become a staple on ROH. We get a moonsault to the outside by Gringo Loco, but he misses on his moonsault in the ring. He recovers to hit a Spanish fly off of the top rope that gets a 2 count, with Willie Mack hitting a stunner, Shining Wizard, and Frog Splash to pick up the victory, and he will be competing again a little bit later on. Lance Archer takes on Ren Jones, and I did put a question mark because he never really had a proper name announcement because Archer drug his opponent down to the ring and threw him all across the ringside area into the barricades and quickly wins the bout once it actually starts with a blackout. Now, a matchup announced for Death Before Dishonor for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Athena would be defending this championship against Mina Shirakawa. Storyline-wise, it makes sense because Athena injured Mina Shirakawa at All In when she won the Casino Gauntlet match, and she hit the O-face on Mina, and it ended up breaking Mina's hand or injuring Mina's hand. If y'all know me, y'all know I have a slight issue with this match, and that is due to Mina Shirakawa being the interim Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship, and we've gotten no update on the actual damn champion. I don't really even know why we have an interim champion. I don't even really know why we have a Ring of Honor Women's Television Champion. I've been over that time and time again, and we have an interim one, and she's challenging for the title that actually matters, which again makes sense, and the reasoning makes sense because she wants revenge for her hand being broke. They also did mention that, hey, Athena might be a double champion at that point. She might be the AEW Women's Champion, but them going ahead and announcing this kind of, again, makes me think, well, that's not going to be the case. And sadly, as dominant as Athena has been in Ring of Honor, that's not really been the case in her AEW career, which, again, sucks. But they did mention that Athena is looking for her 69th victory in Ring of Honor. Take that what you will. But Athena versus Mina Shirakawa. I try to go about her name. Mina Shirakawa at Death Before Dishonor. Next, Taya Valkyrie takes on Layla Gray. Taya tries taunting early, but Gray ain't having none of that. She gets some help from Johnny TV at ringside, but Christopher Daniels, who is accompanying Layla Gray, has enough of that, and then this leads to Gray taking the advantage and winning off of a Dragon's Sleeper. Anytime Layla Gray competes, they mention that Oh my God, Danhausen put the curse on him. She is looking to compete in the women's pure tournament that has been teased since fucking February, and there's not been an announcement. There's not been any update on it. I told y'all for the past couple months that I don't care. Just quit mentioning it. If y'all never mention it again, I'll be fine with it, or just do the damn thing. There's that. Willie Mack is happy with his victory that he had earlier, and he thinks it's time to get some gold in Ring of Honor. Oddly enough, the television champion then appears, Nick Wayne, and doesn't appreciate him talking about wanting gold and specifically his television championship, and that he dares him to try and challenge him. Which, if you wait a couple minutes, Nick Wayne, we'll get to that because that was the first match on the YouTube special, and more than likely in the thumbnail of this video. But we got 2 more matches to talk about on episode 129. The next one, Oro. Main man Oro. I like calling him Oro. It sounds a little bit funnier. Who was recently in NXT in the Metaphor, taking on Tomohiro Ishii. We got a capo kick and a leg sweep by Oro early on. Then both exchange Saito suplexes. We get a springboard moonsault by Oro that gets a 2 count. And then Ishii retaliates with a big lariat and brainbuster to pick up the victory. And in my notes, I wrote this down not once, but twice. I wrote it down initially because I thought it was going to be a title match, and it wasn't. And then I thought I was correcting myself and wrote it down once again as a title match. But this next match is a proving ground bout in the pure title division. Lee Moriarty taking on Xelhua. Again, it's a proving ground bout. We get a bit of a test of his strength, which leads to Moriarty getting the advantage early and applying a Kimura and using Xelhua's first rope break attempt. We get a head scissors by Xelhua, leading to Moriarty using his first rope break attempt. Xelhua's second rope break attempt comes after Moriarty applies a body scissors and he takes it to the ground. Then Xelhua's cloverleaf uses Moriarty's second rope break attempt, meaning they each have 1 left. We get a Border City stretch by Moriarty, but it is turned into a Xelhua roll-up that gets a 2 count. A second Border City stretch is turned into a body scissors, but the time limit expires, meaning that Xelhua will earn a pure title match. And I was writing all this down, writing the notes down, and we know when he's getting that title match. He's getting it at Death Before Dishonor, so these two will be rematching at Death Before Dishonor with the pure title on the line. Also mentioning Lee Moriarty. Big matchup this weekend on Collision as he's a part of the technical spectacle involving Ketchicero, Daniel Garcia, and Ring of Honor legend Nigel McGuinness, which I guess I could really classify all of them as Ring of Honor legends. Ketchicero kind of has the least amount of an argument, but he's more than likely about to be in the main event of the next ROH pay-per-view, so he's building up his resume. But again, looking forward to that match on a Collision. And Lee Moriarty will be defending his pure title against Xelhua at Death Before Dishonor. I will admit, and I will be the asshole, not that overly excited for the match because this matchup, just nothing really. Maybe it's because they knew that they would have to face each other once again, but nothing really was too spectacular in this match, and the crowd did not care. The crowd, there's very little noise at all in this match. So maybe things will pick up when they face again at Death Before Dishonor, if you just want me to be honest. As now, we're transitioning to the second part of this, the YouTube special. Again, why they did this, I don't really know. Does it matter? Not really. As the first matchup is for the TV title, Nick Wayne taking on Willie Mack. Second time we're seeing Willie Mack compete tonight. No code of honor, which pisses Willie Mack off. I imagine he gets more pissed off once Kip Sabian gets involved in the ringside area. Willie Mack starts a comeback with a pop-up forearm and a standing moonsault, but Wayne tries to hit the kill switch, and Mack reverses it into a stunner and a 2 count. Mack misses on a moonsault, and Sabian is holding onto his feet because that's what happened, and then Wayne follows it up with the kill switch finally, and Nick Wayne retains his Ring of Honor Television Championship. Shane Taylor and the Infantry take on AR Fox and the Outrunners next, and this is probably the best match on the YouTube special. We got another match, back-to-back matches with no code of honor as Shane Taylor Promotions attack their opponents prior to it starting. The first 2 legal competitors end up being Bravo and AR Fox. Truth Magnum is triple teamed once he is tagged in and trapped in his opponent's corner. Then he makes a tag to Fox, which he does a double foot stomp and a swanton that gets a 2 count. The infantry attempt to hit Boot Camp, but Fox gets his boot up. Then the Outrunners dump Taylor and Dean to the outside and then hit Total Recall on Bravo to pick up the victory. It is what I enjoyed this match. Like I said, it was probably the best matchup on the episode, which does not help when we have like 7 more matches to talk about. A lot of them are very quick one and done matches. This next matchup was not one of those. This is another exciting matchup. Alex Zane taking on Jay Lethal. Early outside dives by Lethal and Zane, with Zane landing a corkscrew moonsault to the outside as well. Lethal misses on a top rope elbow drop and a lethal injection attempt. Back and forth forearms from both, and then Lethal hits a cutter, and it just sets up a lethal injection and a win for Jay Lethal. This is probably the most important thing to happen on this episode. Now, I do want to preface this, because I've said this in last week's episode, and I feel I need to, it bears repeating, as the quote is. I am not entirely familiar with Paul Walter Hauser. I know he is a award-winning actor, because I've mentioned that several times. The only thing that I have seen him, only movie I've seen him in that I know that, oh, that's Paul Walter Hauser, is the Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four movie, First Steps. And I did mention last week when I was talking about this same thing, I thought he had the funniest part in the movie. I don't want to spoil too much of it. But he has been crossing over into the world of wrestling over the past couple of years and into the world of Ring of Honor as of late. And last week, Paul Walter Hauser was called out and told, hey, show up to Ring of Honor by QT Marshall. So does he accept it? If you read the thumbnail of the video, you already know the answer. But how is that all set up? QT Marshall takes on OXP next, which this is OXP's, I don't know if this is entirely his wrestling debut. It's definitely his Ring of Honor debut. And QT Marshall says that he looks familiar, and OXP mentions that he is a friend of Paul Walter Hauser, which does not please QT Marshall and does not help QT Marshall like him anymore. And QT Marshall puts on an aggressive performance, winning with a forearm and diamond cutter. He continues to attack OXP after the bout, and this is when Paul Walter Hauser makes the save. And kudos to Paul Walter Hauser. I actually like him because he was wearing a Ring of Honor hat. Nice touch. He's been wearing it in several appearances, but wearing an ROH hat on an ROH show, this might be a first, because I don't know off the top of my head if that's happened in recent memory. I'm not going to say it's never, ever happened, but in recent memory has not really been the case. So kudos to him, like I said. And kudos to him because he lands a Russian leg sweep and a headbutt to run off QT Marshall. And this is not the last time that these two will be seeing each other. And this is hilarious because I have no fucking clue. This is one of those created characters. I didn't even see him in the main menu. It's another person that has not made an appearance in Ring of Honor history. But, you know, Paul Walter Hauser has. And if I was to imagine, I imagine that they'll have a match at Death Before Dishonor. If I was to imagine. But we got 2 weeks to find that out. Continuing on with this episode of ROH on YouTube, Allison Kay takes on Billy Starks. Back and forth from the start, with Starks getting the advantage after landing a DDT on the apron and then wrapping things up with a chicken wing with her knee to the back of Allison Kay, leading to a tap out. Next, another Ring of Honor return. I've been wondering where the hell he has been, because we saw a lot of him last year and in late 2023, but Cousin Beef returns to ROH, teaming up with Tom LaRuffa, who used to compete in NXT, taking on the team of Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. I hope that, and I already spoiled that next week that Beef and Blake Christian will have a one-on-one match, which I also just realized that it's kind of unnecessary because they just competed in this damn tag match. Regardless, I hope that we get some interaction between Beef and his cousin, Anthony Henry, because if you remember, JD Drake got injured, and Beef came to ROH to aid his cousin, Anthony Henry, because he needed a tag partner. And then Anthony Henry got hurt, and oddly enough, at the same time, JD Drake came back, and Beef started teaming with him, and then Beef disappeared. I don't know why entirely he had disappeared, but he's here tonight. I'm spending a lot more time talking about this than I probably should. Beef and Tom LaRuffa taking on Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Beef and Christian start the match off after no code of honor. Beef gets trapped in his opponent's corner after an elbow and boot combo by his opponents. Christian and Johnson dive onto Beef on the outside. While in the ring, they land a Death Valley Driver foot stomp combo to pick up the victory. Quick matchup up next being Marina Shafir versus Marty Bell. If you were listening earlier, I said there was a Jon Moxley appearance this week. It's more so a cameo because he did accompany Marina Shafir to the ring for this bout. And it's a one-sided affair as Shafir lands an immediate judo throw after the code of honor and then targets an armbar with Bell, not letting her do it. Good on her, but she lands some forearms, but they have little effect on Shafir as she wins with the Mother's Milk chokehold. I can't talk about the Workhorsemen so much that they appear to have a 6-man tag match tonight. Teaming up with Adam Priest, which, Adam Priest, a great replacement for Cousin Beef. I actually enjoy this trio, and this is their first time teaming together in 6-man form on ROH TV, taking on Ryan Zuko, Joe Keys, and Josh Fuller. Keys and Henry start the bout off. Though there are frequent tags made, Priest delivers a pile driver with Anthony Henry landing a kick into JD Drake, landing a body slam on Fuller, ending this matchup, and then they continue to attack their opponents afterwards, with the Dark Order making the save. And I would enjoy that. I think that would be an okay 6-man tag bout, but it would be a great 6-man tag bout if Priest and the Workhorsemen win. Next matchup, Jordan Oliver takes on Hechicero, so another person that is this is the last person that has to go through double duty this week. We got a chop exchange that happens early and continues throughout the bout. Hechicero targets the legs of Oliver with leg sweeps, and then Hechicero wins the matchup with a backbreaker into an armbar, keeping it on even into after the bell has rung. With Bandito, once again, he is not letting Hechicero attack his opponents after these matches. Hechicero has to get run off by Bandito, making the save. And it's at this point that they did not mention this, but it was at this point that I remembered. We got one more match left, but I remembered. Final Battle was announced this week. I don't remember what day they announced it on, and I will admit that I was very salty on it for 2 reasons. But Final Battle will be taking place on December 5th at GalaxyCon. The next night being a live episode of Collision also at GalaxyCon. I'm not the biggest fan of it because I feel that it is a little bit too early. It's literally the first fucking Friday in December. I kind of wish there was a little bit of later, but I don't really know how the rest of the schedule is going to line up for AEW, so maybe this is just, the easiest time frame that it can line up. Nonetheless, Final Battle is supposed to be the biggest ROH show of the year. Granted, if you remember last year's show, oh boy, Chris Jericho, Matt Cardona, Ring of Honor World Title match, I have very little hair, but I still pull my hair out thinking about, god damn, I'm getting more pissed off thinking about it. That was our ROH World Title match at Final Battle last year. Regardless, Final Battle is scheduled December 5th at GalaxyCon. The other reason I'm a bit salty is I was hoping that they'd run Final Battle back at the Manhattan Center at the Hammerstein. They freaking, for the longest time, that was always where Final Battle was at. And then they finally returned last year just to say the next year, hey, we're not going to do it. So I don't know if AEW are going to run the Manhattan Center later in the year. Maybe not, because I know there's complications with NXT wanted to run a show there. They still haven't because it was too soon after the AEW, etc. You get the point, The whole rest of the world right now is in a drama zone, and you would think ROH would be in the mix of it, but it really isn't, which, for discussion points, is good for, my mental health, because I hate the discussion points we're getting in the world of wrestling right now. I don't want to go on a whole tangent, but I said it earlier this week. It's just way too toxic and pointless and just a bunch of bullshit as Jon Moxley is getting his ass whooped by Yuka right now. Y'all should pay attention to that. We got one more match to talk about on the YouTube special, that being Tony Nese and Ari Daivari taking on Neon and Mascara Dorada. Neon and Nice start the bout, but Neon and Dorada attempt a dive to the outside, but Nice grabs Neon's feet, and Daivari attacks Dorada from behind. The Premier athletes trap Neon in their corner from this point, but he lands a double drop kick to get out of this. Dorada is hit with a double choke slam for a 2 count, and then Dorada and Neon deliver super kicks to everybody, including Mark Sterling at ringside, and win the matchup off of double frog splash to finish this special edition of ROH on YouTube. We got one more thing to discuss, and if I discuss it, it's going to, because I would recommend y'all go watch this thing, because they uploaded it on its own, and it's pretty fun, but it's a cinematic trailer promoting the Ring of Honor World Title match at Death Before Dishonor between Bandito and Hechicero, where Bandito celebrating, he's celebrating with the Ring of Honor World Championship. He gets attacked, he saves the day, and then he turns around, and his whole, what do they call this? Saloon? Kowloon? Kowloon's a place in Massachusetts. This saloon. Point being, go watch it. It's a very fun trailer, nonetheless. We got 3 people left in this battle royale, so I'm going to try to stall for time. How long will we be going? Or it's about to be a 30-minute review, which, granted, it's freaking 3 hours of action. So I will say, it's another week without any update on the ROH World Tag Team and 6-Man Tag Team titles due to Dustin Rhodes' injuries. And again, I imagine that by the time we get to Death Before Dishonor, maybe we have, I fully imagine, if I was to, I would imagine, sorry that I said that like 5 times in like 30 seconds, that we would crown new, like they would vacate both titles and crown new champions at Death Before Dishonor. That way we're guaranteeing 2 title at least 1, maybe 2 title changes at Death Before Dishonor. You might not want to do both. I can, again, somewhat understand that, but there's so many good tag teams in ROH, and the fact, again, I appreciate Dustin Rhodes, and I like Dustin Rhodes. Sammy Guevara is another story, but the fact that they were tag champions for a year, I think was a little bit bullshit and overblown, and it kind of might have been an occasion like, oh yeah, they have these tag titles. So the fact that they're never going to properly lose them, again, is kind of bullcrap, but shit happens in life. I'm sorry that I've cussed so much, but you had to watch 3 hours of ROH, you would understand the frustrations. Close to 3 hours. I'm rounding. So, again, we never got any updates on the tag team titles. We know the pure title match at Death Before Dishonor. Nick Wayne's got a lot on his schedule. He's got a freaking match with Edge and Christian at the next AEW pay-per-view. And I know that probably bothered people if I called him that, but it is what it is. We know Bandito Hechicero. Athena's got a match. No update again on the women's TV title tournament or the TV title, the women's pure title tournament. I feel there's another title. The 6-man. Is there another? I feel there's another title I'm forgetting in ROH. ROH World, ROH Women, ROH TV, ROH Pure, Tag Team, 6-man. I might be forgetting one. It doesn't matter. Cheap plug. Go watch this week's retro review. I discussed Final Battle 2022. I enjoyed that a lot. Another long video. That was an hour-long review. I said that I'm going to try my best to do some retro reviews on the channel, but I'm not guaranteeing it. Next week, I shall be here again for an ROH review. I don't imagine they'll do a freaking special edition again, but who effing knows. But next week's review, I will try to apply and do Forbidden Door predictions with it. I wish that these 3 guys would get the memo and wrap this up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to discuss. And then the week after that is Death Before Dishonor week, obviously. So we'll see how this goes. So right now we're at 29 minutes exactly. So if we get to 30 minutes and these 3 guys are still in it, I'm just in it. So at least we'd have like a 30-minute even. Got UFC this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. Chimaya and Dricus du Plessis. Should be a fun card on the same time as Collision, which a little bit complicated. It is what it is. We got 2 more guys left. Got Orange and Moxley. This will be fitting because Moxley was on ROH this week. It's not, he doesn't have to win. It'd just be fitting. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting that I don't know, but I have discussed a lot, so I don't think that necessarily it is. So, is Moxley about to win? Is he going to piss everybody off? Nope. He's going to piss me off, at least. You don't have to do all this. Come on. No test of strength. Just throw him. Okay, he's trying to beat the shit out of him. Boom. No way. This is hilarious. It also doesn't matter because there's no pins in this match. Oh my god. This is awkward silence now. Just throw him. Just throw him. Just throw it. I'm wanting a Mountain Dew Baja Blast to celebrate reviewing this and getting this all done, and they're just stalling. Brother, you don't have to keep doing the forearms. We get it. Come on. I don't even think I can jump in to save the match. Bro, his ribs are red. This is a third paradigm shift. Nope, I called that too soon. He at least hit 2. Death Rider. Okay, I called it. It's the third one. At least. He's probably hit more, and I haven't been paying attention. It's over. Moxley wins again. No, you throw him to the ropes closest to you. This is hilarious. I had to say that about the 30-minute mark even. I had to, because now we're at 32 minutes. Just dump him out. If he dumps him out, it ain't going to matter because his health bar is too high. Now y'all just going to think I'm freaking stalling for time. I'm really not. I'm telling y'all this now. Because people that just click on the video and don't know, they're going to think, what the hell happened? Why is this going on for so long? Because we've been doing it for 5 minutes now. Reverse, throw him out. So that's kind of close. Yes. He just loves this. He just loves this taunt. You don't have to do a test of strength. How did that damage his leg? See, look, boom. Bounce off. Death Rider. Okay, hey, we're getting somewhere. This gets to 34 minutes, and I'm in it. They got one more minute. They got one more freaking minute. We're over by 4 minutes. I want my Baja Blast. They're stalling me. I could have probably I've already got it by now. They'd still be fighting. But the suffering kinda makes it funnier for y'all. Not for me, but for y'all, maybe. Woo! This is necessary. Hit him. But that's not even a signature. You could have. Is this? I don't even think this is a signature either. Taunt and hit your finish. This is not. He's hitting 3 moves in a row. That's not a signature. Come on. There we go. Mox FC. Come on. Death Riders. Boom. He just said, I'm going to join the X Division. You didn't. If he hits a 5th Death Rider in the middle of the ring, come on, please. Mr. Moxley. I swear he's going to throw him the farthest away that doesn't... there's a rope right next to you. Is there a way that I could jump into this? No. Wait. I don't think there is. I could just hit quit, but that would be... that'd be bullshit for y'all. We're 35 minutes in. A 6th Death Rider. You know what's funnier is... oh my god. Take it. Take it. Hit him. Thank you. John Moxley. 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 This was me at All In. When all y'all were cheered for Hangman, I was cheering for Moxley. I'm kidding, but... it is what it is. Enough of me. Y'all got 5 extra minutes that weren't needed. It is what it is. I do appreciate y'all watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all, because I'm out for now. Goodbye.